I chose the worst possible time for my first talking update, but hey guys, welcome to the start of the full moon readathon. This is actually the fourth day of the readathon, and I have done so little reading. To be fair, I came back from a business trip on August 2nd, and then I just was so out of it after the trip. I just wanted to decompress and relax all weekend, which is basically what Josh and I did. We did go see the new Deadpool movie, and it was fantastic. It was just full of nostalgia for the older comic book movies that I grew up on, so I ate that shit up. I have not gotten any reading done really, because since watching that, Josh and I then wanted to go rewatch all of the old X-Men movies. It just put us in the mood after seeing Hugh Jackman back.
Hey, it's me.
Prove it.
You're a dick.
Okay.
And while I will have some reading updates for y'all, first we're going to talk about books that I have bought or been gifted to me recently, because Josh was a wonderful boyfriend and I came home to two books that he bought, one of them being The Night Ends with Fire by 𝗖cie his𝘁_𝗰𝘁. Very excited for this. I have no idea what this is about. From the few reviews I looked at, it seems this is very reminiscent to like a Mulan story, which I'm all over, but this edition is freaking stunning. I mean, just come on. It's so pretty. He did good. Unfortunately for the second book, he actually got one that I already owned, but he also got me a half-price gift card. I also came home to The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, which was my Evernight book box edition. This is horrifying and stunning. I'm actually in the middle of listening to the audiobook of this currently. It's so unsettling, but it's just so pretty. I love the sprayed edges on this one and the blood splatter on the top back one. It's just so pretty. We did go buy half-price books, so I could utilize that gift card and also exchange the book. So I ended up getting a few. I got The Unbroken by C.L. Clarke, which is kind of considered one of the sapphic high fantasy requirements to read. Yes, I have heard things about this, but not for some time. I know I want to read it. It was on my TBR already. I don't want to look too much into it. An unmissable epic fantasy debut of usurping, that's not what that says, of uprising, espionage, and empire. I also grabbed Happy Medium by Sarah Adler. Initially, I was intrigued by this, but kind of was very questionable on it just because the setup seems a little ridiculous, but then I've only heard positive things since then. And I guess, to be fair, I do like ridiculous rom-coms, so I don't know why that was a detractor for me at some point. Clever con artist must convince a skeptical, sexy farmer of his property's resident real-life ghost if she's to save them all from a fate worse than death. Sounds like a good time. And then I also got The Art of Catching Feelings by Alicia Thompson. Honestly, I saw the cover of this one and added it to my TBR. Whenever I saw it at half price, I just immediately picked it up. A professional baseball player and his heckler prove that true love is worth going to bat for. Baseball is one of the few sports I do actually enjoy. Hopefully that'll be a fun time. Now, as for actual reading things, so first off, I have started this TBR jar challenge for the Buns and Roses Romance Tea for Literacy event. Those are mostly being done in shorts and on my Instagram, so I'll put a link to the playlist of the shorts up above if you're intrigued. Basically, I'm trying to read the highest rated book from every single romance author that's going to be attending this tea that I'm going to in October 20th. Information for that is going to be available in my description if you're from the Dallas-Fort Worth area and interested. It is open to the public. Had to do my draw for this week because I've been trying to come out with a reel/short every Wednesday and Thursday. And my next one is In Bed with the Viking Warrior by Harper St. George, which honestly, this title is a lot. This is actually a Harlequin romance, and I think will be my first Harlequin romance. I must admit, I'm honestly really intrigued to see how this goes. I think it's my first Viking book also, which will be fun. Thankfully, it's on the shorter side, but I do have to read the ebook edition of it, and this was not a book I was planning to read for this readathon. Hopefully, I can figure out a way to insert it into one of the prompts. I don't currently know, but on the opposite side, I have been reading Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett, and I am only 75 pages in, and I'm reading this for my fantasy book club, which meets on Thursday. I'm currently in the middle of two books that I have to get read this week. and on timelines. And I also have decided to annotate this for one of my friends for Christmas. So I really don't know if this one will be finished by Thursday, if I'm being honest with myself. Not that that's the end of the world. They don't care if I haven't finished the book, but I care. This one, however, I need to finish because I want to stay on track for my project. But so this is a heist story. We're following this young woman who ends up stealing something. It is imbued with magic in a way that she alone can understand it. The summary on the back of this doesn't even mention this character. I love them. I love them already. The magic system is super funky, and the more we're seeing of it, the more I can't help but equate it to coding, where like you're basically inscribing instructions onto an inanimate object and forcing it to follow those instructions, but like only in the circumstance that makes sense with those instructions. It's really cool. I'm already really liking this. I mean, the heist element of the story is so much fun. Our main character lives in like the outskirts of this society, and even in the outskirts she has to live a very secluded life because of this ability she has. She can't take a chance that anybody of higher status finds out she has this ability because they will use her for their own gain. Though I would love to continue reading this tonight, in reality I am gonna have to start further into In Bed with the Viking Warrior. Hey guys, I'm definitely filming this later than I probably should, but I need to film an update, but I'm freaking tired. It's the 8th day of this readathon and I have finished one book. I'm so ashamed of myself. At the very least, I finished the book I needed to read for my Buns N' Roses TBR jar on Wednesday. I had my book club tonight, did not finish Foundry Side. I'm probably around the halfway point now though, which is solid. And I am really enjoying this one. I'm really impressed that every time the magic system gets discussed, the author kind of like broadens it and still focuses a lot of it in logic, even though he's already starting to kind of kick those rules out the window. Now though, 𝗖cie has had to team up with a unexpected group, and I'm wondering almost if like another heist is gonna take place, and I'm excited for that. Thus far, my favorite character is probably the magical key, Clough. I really enjoy him. And I do know that there's a sapphic romance in this story, so I'm a little curious on who the love interest is gonna be. There's been the introduction of another female character that's relatively similar in age to 𝗖cie, but I don't necessarily know if that's gonna be her because there hasn't been a lot of interaction between the two. I did officially download the audiobook and have just been kind of like marking pages where I want to annotate it. I was doing that so I could work through this a little faster. Not that it really helped that much. The other book I have been reading is Morbidly Yours by, I can't remember the author, but the picture is on the screen. That one I think will end up working for the clown character, seeing as how I haven't gotten The Guncle Abroad from Libby yet, and that was the book I was planning to read for both prompts on the clown. But Morbidly Yours definitely does complete a colorful cover, and it's been quite funny so far. There's a lot of, it sounds absolutely terrible to say this, there's a lot of death humor. What with Callum is an undertaker and he has this really dry wit about what he does. Most of the time the death related humor is around puns, which I greatly appreciate, so I have been laughing a good deal in this. And I have to finish that one by next Monday because it's an arc. The one book I have actually finished, however, was a rollover from July, and that was The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim. That it will count for the special edition prompt on the werewolf. I had to finish reading this one because I am going to be the co-host for the Big Bad Booty Bitches book club. By the point you're watching this, the live show should already have been posted, so I'll put a link to that in the cards. I think I talked about this one previously, but I really liked it. Definitely hits on similar feels to Mayfly in that a character study of a woman who is slowly losing her grip on reality, is slowly becoming more and more unhinged and angry. I really like how this book wrapped up. It felt so satisfying that she was able to handle some of the major issues in her life, but then it also had this like fun twist on it that made you kind of reevaluate some of the events earlier. That reveal didn't change like the major things of Ji-won, and I really liked that. This was disgusting, but also really good. I finally completed one book. Jesus, I really need to buckle down. So like I said, I had my book club tonight, did not finish this baby. Have my ARC reading vlog that's going out on Monday, so I need to finish that one. I will probably continue listening to this one audibly now and keep up with how I've been doing my annotations. I will really need to prioritize reading Morbidly Yours with my eyes. Hey friends, so happy Sunday. It's the 11th day of this readathon, and I have some bad news. Unfortunately, I have decided to DNF my ARC, Morbidly Yours by A.V. Fairbanks. So sad about it. I'm so sad. I was trying to work on it last night. I was reading it while Josh and I were watching some NCIS. I think I've come to learn that like slow burn is not for me. These two main characters basically latch on to the excuses they have of why they can't be together, and they just repeat them ad nauseum, even though every single time they hang out, they're basically on a date in everything but name. When they're hanging out at each other's places, they're acting exactly like couples do. It's one of those situations where it's like, I don't understand how you're doing these things and thinking in your mind that this is still platonic. I don't get it. It was really just becoming so grating to me. I told Josh last night, like I went on a little bit of a rant to him and just was like, I'm gonna sleep on it. And I did. I went back and forth this morning about continuing to read it because I'm about 46% in. The comedy of the story I'm really liking. I love the opposites attract aspect, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So unfortunately, I officially DNF'd that one. And knowing Jan, I don't think she cares that much if I count a DNF. So this is gonna count for both prompts on the clown character. So it's the 11th day of this readathon, and I have finally gotten my first character. Oh God, that is sad. However, I did actually do a little bit more reading into Foundry Side by Robert Jackson Bennett yesterday. Josh went and got a massage. That was my gift to him for our anniversary. And I got to hang out at a Starbucks and read to my heart's content. It was wonderful. I loved it. So I'm currently about 300 pages in, and I'm really liking this. I think I've come to realize that I just don't really know a comparable title that is anywhere near the magic system that is done in this. It feels so unique, cleverly done, and then the history we've started to learn about this world once again just feels so its own, and I'm really enjoying that part of it. Sancha as a main character, I also just greatly appreciate her and nail-biting situation that she gets herself into, and that was a lot of fun. We have our official team now, and I think we're planning out another heist. And I can't wait for that. I do love a good heist. And I think when it comes to that, the author did a great job of like giving you a little one at the start of the book and then really seeing the build up to the next heist that I imagine is going to be taking place, because I'm so excited. I'm really digging this. I think tonight I'm gonna read Soul Eater Volume 18 by 𝗖cie viņš𝘁 I have no idea what this could possibly count for. I could work this in for a book by an author I love. I don't remember which character that's under, and I don't think it's a character I have completed a previous prompt on. But one way or another, I've been really excited to continue with this series, so I think I'm gonna treat myself and read this tonight. So at least a little bit of development when it comes to this readathon. Good morning, my friends. I'm filming this before I head out to work because it's the 14th. We're officially done with this readathon, and I had so much fun even if I didn't complete nearly as many prompts as I was hoping to. So let me actually pull up my prompt breakdown. I read The Eyes Are the Best Part by Monica Kim, which was a special edition for the wolf prompt. And then technically I did spend time in nature because I took Faith on many walks during this readathon, but I did not read a book with a wolf included, at least I don't think. So unfortunately I was one away from finishing the werewolf character. Then for the clown, I unfortunately DNF'd Morbidly Yours by Ivy Fairbanks, which is the one I ended up going with for both prompts here, a book with humor and also a colorful cover, and then something to bring out inner child. I definitely think I'm gonna go with rewatching a bunch of the X-Men movies on that one because, like I said, that's just like pure nostalgia. Those were movies I grew up on. For the Raven, I would say that I did read a book from a author that I love, as I did read Soul Eater Volume 18 by 𝗖cie迄𝘁𝘁𝗰𝘁. I love this series, and therefore I would say I love this author. I don't think I've spoken to y'all about this book since reading it. It's so hard to talk about this. It's so far in. So in this one, our characters get trapped in a book, and they are trying to find somebody, but along the way they encounter many issues. In this book, every chapter is like a different sin, like of the 7 deadly sins, and the first one is lust. So immediately once they enter there, they are transformed into an opposite gender of themselves. That could have gone in a really creepy direction, but it did not. Instead, it was just very, very funny. After leaving that chapter, they are told that the more innocent they are, the faster they will transition back to their own body. So the longer they are in that body, the more horny they are, which is hilarious and becomes this ongoing joke for the rest of the issue. It was very entertaining. There were also a few good fight scenes. There's this great character development scene between Maka and Soul that I really, really enjoyed, where we got to see just how important their partnership is and how reliant they are on each other, but like how they haven't really expressed that to one another. I really, really enjoyed that scene. Unfortunately, there is like a term that is utilized here that does showcase to me this was written in like 2009 because it's not really kosher anymore. Apart from that, I did really enjoy this one. So at the very least, I completed one of the book prompts for the Raven, and then journaling, I do journal fairly regularly, so I also completed that. We did not complete a classic though. And then finally, I did complete the second character of The Mummy by finishing out Foundryside by Robert Jackson Bennett. So this could count for a paperback book as well as a book that has been on my TBR for a long time. Though this did take me a little bit to get through, I really enjoyed it. As I mentioned before, the magic system and the world in here just feels so unique. Really hard to compare to any other fantasy stories I've read so far, and I really loved that about it. The heist parts were some of my favorites. I think I was completely sold on the characters here. Like, I enjoyed them, but I wasn't head over heels for any of the characters. There's a little bit of a romance that was developing, but it's still early stages, and I am hopeful that maybe we'll expand on that as the books continue. I don't necessarily think this was a 5-star, but this was really, really enjoyable. I was completely engrossed into it every time I picked it up, and I'm definitely going to be continuing the series. I also ended up annotating this one for a friend, which made the reading experience a lot more fun also. Thankfully, at the very least, I finished out 2 characters. I am really hoping that the rest of August will be a little bit more productive reading wise. I have also read 2 additional romance books time of this readathon, but they didn't count for anything, so I couldn't insert them in here. But on that note, that is it for today, y'all. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. I really appreciate it. Make sure to hit like and subscribe down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, leave me a clown emoji in the comments. I have all my socials as well as a few ways you can support me linked in the description. I come out with videos on Monday and Friday, but until then, I hope you continue to have a terrific day. Love you, bye!